So my name is Haley, and I'm an alcoholic and an addict. I'm like super nervous and probably doubly nervous because my dad is streaming this right now. And you'll hear why that's kind of a miracle for me. So yeah, like Zach said, I'm a Limen House alumni. My sobriety date is 10/10/19. Yeah. Not my first one, but hopefully, God willing, it'll be my last. Just to keep it short into why, I don't know why I am the way I am. I no longer try to figure it out. I just am myself. But I'm the child of two really young heroin addicts, right? So like late 90s, and my dad's watching, so this is embarrassing. But so the day I was born, my mom and my dad were doing their thing. Crashed the car, my dad had warrants, he ran. My mom had drugs in her system, I was born. And that's how I came into this world, right, into chaos. And so growing up, right, I saw a lot of stuff I shouldn't have seen. My dad spent most of my life incarcerated. And my mom was in and out of treatment, on the street. She'd rob us a few times. She'd get custody of us. She'd lock us in motel rooms while she did her thing. She'd leave us in parks while she went to cop, like just stuff. And the family that ended up taking me, my mom's parents, really brutal alcoholics. So basically any type of abuse, I've been through it. And I always had this hope, though, that like my grandma would take us to church. We'd go to the Methodist church. I'm from Jersey. And she'd always say, just pray for your mom to get better, and she'll come, and you'll have a life. Because I used to tell everyone I wasn't a real little girl because I didn't have parents. And, you know, my mom died of an overdose, homeless on the streets in East Orange, New Jersey, when I was 8 years old. And I remember when they told me that they found her body, they didn't even write time of death, right? Because this is not like in the period of time when the opioid epidemic is happening to like wealthy white people, right? So people don't care. And my mom was found in a vacant lot in the middle of January, frozen dead, and they just wrote body found. I remember the police coming and telling us that they had found her, and I didn't cry. I couldn't cry. I'm 8 years old. I couldn't cry. But it kind of like started this idea of just like, yo, I got no one. That was like my last hope. I was like, my mom was gonna get clean. She was gonna come get me. We'd find my dad, and then I'd have a life. And from that moment forward, like when Nicole was talking about using to die, that's how I've always been, right? Like I've been a blackout drinker since the beginning. I've never really been one to like, I'm not trying to party. I'm not trying to have a good time. I'm not trying to be your friend. I need to like feel something. I need to feel something different. I just don't want to be here. So my drinking, my using has always been kind of one for destruction. We don't really need to talk too deeply about like what really happened. I got sober pretty young. You know, I felt like my life meant nothing. People treated me like my life meant nothing. Everyone in my town knew my parents, so people looked at me like my life didn't matter. So I set out to prove to you that you were wrong. So I got a perfect score on my SAT. I was a fantastic student, right? I did my thing on the side. My brother's trapping. I'm drinking at bars. I'm 15. I have boobs. In Jersey, you can do that. And I got myself a full ride to college, and I was going to be the first one in my family to go to college. But I walked onto the UVM rugby team. I went to University of Vermont, broke my shoulder, same old story, got addicted. Something I swore I'd never do, and it brought me to places I thought I'd never be. And I'm like 20 years old, and I'm living in a motel room with my drug dealer boyfriend. I remember I came to his last day I ever did heroin. He had shattered my eye socket. He thought he killed me, so he left my ID next to my body. And I looked in the mirror. I looked just like my mom did before she died. And my mom died when she was 29, and I was only 20 years old. And I haven't touched heroin since that day, but things happen, right? I like went to AA. I didn't tell anyone about me. I didn't want you to look at me. I didn't want you to know me. People tried to hug me. Men tried to touch me. I did not like it. Man like tried to give me my 24-hour coin and a hug, and I told him I'd slit his throat if he ever came near me again. And that's just kind of how I've been. And I ended up getting stabbed at about 2.5 years sober, and I relapsed after that. And that brought me down to a place that I didn't think was possible. I didn't touch heroin, but I was blackout drinking again. And I don't know what happened. I just woke up in Maryland one day. I don't know if that's happened to anyone, but I like woke up in rehab, and I was like, where are my clothes? Where's my car? I was drinking in Jersey City like I think 12 hours ago. They're like, you were drinking in Jersey City 48 hours ago. and you're in treatment. And I was like, okay, where's all my stuff? And I still don't know where a lot of my stuff went. My car was an impound, though. I eventually found that. And I was an RCA, and they sent me to Women's Limen House. No one else wanted me. No one else wanted to have me. My family had written me off. And my family, if you admit you have a problem, all right, bye. So me going to treatment was kind of a no-no for them. And so I ended up in long-term treatment in Wilmington in the Limen House, and I hated every minute of it. Everyone's smiling at me. They're all so kind. Right? I have no clothes. They're giving me clothes. And I was like, I don't want your program. I don't want anything. I was like, honestly, I agreed to come here because it's closer to an Amtrak station, because I'm going to hop on that Amtrak station, sell whatever I can find, and I'm going to go up to Patterson, and I'm just going to shoot dope in my neck and die. That was my plan. I was like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be alive. I hate you. I hate myself. There's no hope for me. There's no God in my life. There's nothing. And they gave me the worst roommate ever, and she, like, my first day there, she's like, I found my mom dead, found my dad dead, and I was like, damn, I can't have you find me dead. And so, like, I don't know what happened, and this is where I know God was working in my life at that point in time. I was like, let me just see what I do, like, what I can do, and if I give it a shot. They tried to kick me out at about 60 days because they were like, Haley, you're a miserable person to be around, and I am. I will tell you everything I think that's wrong with you, right? I'll tear you to shreds. Because I don't want to look at myself. I hate myself. I hate you, right? I'm angry. I want to fight you. That's how I've been my whole entire life. And I went to go pack up my bags when they said, yo, you got to go. And I was like, you know I'm probably going to die. And they're like, we know, we don't take that lightly. But you're affecting everyone else around you. Have you ever thought about the way you affect other people? And I said, nah, but F you. And I went upstairs to pack my bags. Really, I was getting my med box because that was the most important thing. And I said my first honest prayer of, like, I am probably going to die and I don't know what I'm doing. And something told me to go downstairs and beg for my bed. And they'd already discharged me, but they allowed me to stay on a very strict contract. And I finished out my stay in Limen House, right? And I'm so grateful for them changing their minds and allowing me to stay. I did 10 and a half months, and I enjoyed it. I went to their step-down house, and on my first year, and things were changing, right? I started working with a sponsor, right? And I told her I wasn't going to do the God thing. That didn't work in my life. And someone told me very pointedly that I need to seek relief in God the way I sought relief in the drink, right? Because I told them, I was like, yo, I've prayed before, and then just nothing happened. And they're like, Haley, when you take one shot and you don't get the level of drunk you want to be, what do you do? And I was like, I take more. And she's like, why did you think that you'd pray once and you would feel relief? You have to seek God in that same way. And that clicked with me, and I was like, all right, if I can do that, then maybe I have a chance. And she said, what's the worst thing that happens? You actively try to seek a God in your life and you don't find him, then you just end up back where you were. Or maybe you can find freedom and you can find a life and you can find hope. But what's the worst thing that happens if you just try? And I was like, all right, girl, I got you. And I started trying. And slowly but surely things started changing, and I noticed it. So I play spades. I love spades. It's my favorite thing to do in any facility I'm in. I run that spades table, right? And so we're not very kind to each other when we play spades, right? And I'm down in the Limen House, and I'm playing spades, and I don't know, man. I'm starting to pray. I have a prayer life going. I'm meditating. I'm still not sure if it's connecting. I'm asking to change. I just want to change. I don't want to be this person anymore. And I walked away from the spades table. I was like, I don't think our jokes are funny anymore. Like, I don't think jokes at other people's expenses are funny anymore. I don't think, I want to do this anymore. And, and that was the first time I noticed that something was actually changing. The only thing that had changed in my life was that I was trying to connect with God. So I keep going forward, right? On my 1 year of sobriety, we found my housemate dead. She had relapsed, and she died in the house. And I started doubting God again. And I have this really terrible luck, or I'm actually really highly blessed. Actually, I prefer to look at it that way. But in the height of the pandemic, I caught pneumonia and then caught COVID while I had pneumonia, and I ended up in the ICU for a long time. And I had about a year and 2 months sober. And I'm starting to suffocate on my own lung pus. That sounds so gross, but that's just what it is, right? And they're putting me on regular oxygen, high-flow oxygen, BiPAP, CPAP, next step's a ventilator. Nothing's changing. I'm probably going to die. And I have this moment in the hospital, and I really kind of felt peace for the first time where I was like, I've actually had the best year of my life, right? My dad, who I did not have a relationship with, came to see me. He drove like 17 hours from Chicago to see me. My dad's been clean for a long time. My dad found God in prison when I was younger, and he turned his life around. And that was my first call when I went to treatment. And I hated the man. I hated him so much. Right, so I had seen my dad, I'd started to build a relationship with him, and I'd started to build a relationship with God, and I'm starting to finally feel at home, something I've never felt in my life. And now I'm dying, and I said, God, thank you so much, and I know it's not up to me if I stay. And the only regret I think I had at that point in time, and I said it, I was like, I know I'm loved. The people in my life now know I love them. I just wish I did more things for other people. Like, I really feel like I've been really selfish. And if I live, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. And they got a drug. I guess they approved, I don't know. They gave me remdesivir. I don't even know what that means. But either way, I got off a ventilator pretty quick. I started breathing okay. I lived. Spoiler alert, I lived. I'm here. And I didn't have a job, I didn't have anything, and all I had to do was just turn myself to helping other people. So I started sponsoring other women, I started volunteering in my community. I went back to college, I started working in the field, and I've just been trying my best to spread hope to other people. And so about 5 years sober, right, and this is funny, Zach already alluded to it. I started working in the men's prison. I was working at Gander Hill as a counselor. I enjoyed it. My dad found recovery in prison, and I felt like that was the place I needed to be because I really owed the people that showed up for my dad, right? And I wanted to be a part of that change. And fun fact, me and COs don't get along. Me and police don't get along. And I guess I made someone angry. I did make someone angry. 2 guards got fired, 1 guard got suspended, and then 2 weeks later I walked into work and I got put in handcuffs. And I was charged with a felony drug charge, and I was insulted and indignant because how dare you accuse me of bringing drugs into a prison? I'm not that dumb, A. And B, I've tried so hard at that point in time to show up for my community and be a positive member of my community, and here they are accusing me of doing the opposite. And thankfully, I have enough people in my life that have been incarcerated, so I knew immediately, lawyer, not talking to you. And I remember I was in holding for a while, and I'm just praying, and I'm meditating, and I'm trying to figure it out. I'm like, whatever happens, it's just what's going to be. And I'm not going to act like that there wasn't any fear in there. And they released me. Thankfully, I had an unsecured bail, so I was able to walk out of Troop 1. But they seized my car, they searched my house, they took my phone. The only thing I had was my debit card and my ID. There's that liquor store right across the street. And, man, I'm not gonna lie to you. My first thought was, I'm getting drunk tonight. And I went to go cross the street, and the first thought in my head was, pray. And I prayed to God, and the thought then came into my head of the only phone number I know in Delaware is the Women's Limen House resident number. So, let me just go ask these people if I can use their phone and see if anyone picks up. And they picked up, and I was put staff on the phone, and I had someone there picking me up off the side of the road within 5 minutes. Limen House, even as an alumni, right? I show up as an alumni, try to help those women, try to help those men. In that period of time, this was in October, by the way, so it's only been a couple months. And the Alumni Network paid my rent, because I was struggling to find a job because no one wants to hire a drug and alcohol counselor with a pending felony looking at 5 years in Baylor. They helped me find a job. They fed me every single night. They gave me a place to go. They helped me have a holiday. They supported me through everything. And charges got dropped. There's no evidence to a crime I didn't commit. And man, when I tell you that was probably the best experience that's ever happened to me. And that's crazy, right? To me, that's crazy. All these things that have happened in my life that I thought were going to kill me at one time or another, God has used to build me up, to change my life, to be in the perfect position to help someone else. And I just have learned I can't question it, right? I've gotten closer than I've ever been to my family. My dad, oh my God, Dad, I know you're watching. His first piece of advice, I was like, Dad, I just got arrested on my first felony. He's like, welcome to the family, baby. Jury trial. He's like, I've been charged with everything. They've only caught me on a few. Jury trial. And I was like, all right, Dad, thank you for that advice. Still sticks out in my head. Man, if I could, I just wish, man, that I could give this to everyone. Just like this sense of peace that I have, this sense of belonging that I never had in my life, right? I fundamentally hated myself as a person. I had no real evidence to why I should. Early on, my earliest memories were like, I just shouldn't be here. I'm not supposed to be here. And if you had told me that through this process of recovery, losing everything and the things that have happened, that I would find like a sense of like peace in my own skin and this joy in helping other people, I would have called you a liar, right? I still work in the field. I do outreach now. I stepped down as a counselor. I don't really want to counsel. Mental health is not really my deal. I just want to be helpful. You need food, let me feed you. You need clothes, let me clothe you. You need me to hug you, I got you. I don't like touching people, but it's fine, I will. And, I'm just honored to bear witness to the success of other people, right? Like, that has just been the greatest joy in my life, is just to show up and watch other people put their lives together and find God. And whether they're at that point in their journey or not, I believe love the addict, whether they want to be clean or not, when they're clean at any point in time. And I'm just so grateful to be here, and I'm so honored to have been asked to speak. And I don't want to go over anymore because I really want to hear James. So thanks for letting me share.